This is fucking awesome.
We all have flashlights.
We're outside.
You will need flashlights.
And he's got his big ass bright spotlight.
Oh,
We'll light up
gosh.
the whole room if we need it.
Am I going up?
Yep, up you go.
Where are we going first?
Here we go.
Go to the left, go to the ballroom.
Okay. Going to the ball.
We are here at the Washoe, going to the ball, and we're following Michelle. Michelle, say hi.
Hi guys.
Michelle's gonna be our tour guide. She's been here a lot. People she's with. So they're gonna give us a full tour, let us know what goes on, what rooms are active. They're gonna know more history than we are.
The ballroom.
I'm taking it this is the biggest room on these levels.
Yes,
The most open room.
this is actually the room where the Ghost Adventures caught the apparition. Walking from there to there.
And isn't this like the actual duct tape they put down?
Yes. Yeah, the duct tape X's on the floor.
Those are the X's that Ghost Adventures cruise.
Oh man, those are popular. Heavy.
Yeah.
It's bigger than I thought. It's huge.
Well, this is the ballroom. And actually, this is a ballroom that was never used as a ballroom. You had a building full of men half in this building. They didn't see the reason to have a ballroom. So what they did, they put a big wall up in here dividing this into two large rooms. This room that was down here at this end, there were two beautiful ornate billiard tables where the guys could play billiards. This section of the building, they turned this room into a library and lounge area. This is where they could come back and sit, relax, and read books, magazines, and newspapers. Now, if you're familiar with TV's Ghost Adventures, this is the room where they caught that full-bodied apparition that was walking across the floor here, following Nick out of the room.
With that X on the floor right there.
The gray X, yes. That's where the camera was that caught that apparition that evening. Now, as far as activity, as far as Sim and I are concerned, we really haven't had that much activity take place in this room.
The best stuff we've caught is actually sitting on this bench.
Yeah.
And then if you direct your cameras down this hallway, you can actually hear somebody walking down the hallway.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of people have caught the tall shadow man in this doorway. My niece, she's 15, she likes the ghost stuff. She was like, I feel something over there. She took a picture and she caught him. So, and other people have done the same thing.
Yeah.
So this is like the only spot here that we've actually got any real evidence coming down that hallway.
Okay.
And then also that back corner room. So we can go that way next.
One other thing that did happen up here, we were up here on an investigation. The last time that we were up here, one of our team members, he had all this stuff over here on this bench. And while he was doing something in his pack where his cameras and stuff were. And while he was in there working, the lid on his pack lifted up by itself and closed.
Now, we don't want to cut you off or something. When we started recording, you're saying my team. Let's do introductions. Hello, everyone.
Oh.
We are here with, and what is your guys' team?
Empathic Paranormal. I'm Richard, and this is Cimarron.
Okay. Okay. Just so you know who you're watching and who's giving us stories. Who the hell are these guys?
Well, you guys can splice it however you want.
Oh, yeah.
But we've investigated this place so many different times. He's a tour guide here, so he has daily experiences. But yeah, we've brought high school kids to do their senior projects up here on paranormal investigating, pretty much right in our backyard. So.
Okay. And so is there like a certain type of group that you brought in where all of a sudden like the activity kicked up? Like when we were here, a bus full of black kids from LA came in. I don't know if just the time, they're not used to that, but the activity, that's when my experience happened right when they left. You know, I don't think back in the day they were used to that.
Yeah, we have had, if you ask them, you tell them, hey, do you know we have a black president? You get responses like, you're kidding me.
Really?
Or no shit. Or it's so it's something
because
that
to them, that's like, what the hell is going on?
Especially if they're a millionaire back in that time, that's like beyond thinking that there's a black president.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So stuff like that does get reactions.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Michelle, anything you want to touch on that's happening here?
I'm Michelle
Michelle
LeBaron, and I'm a lone wolf. I do my own thing. I work with everybody. I've had many experiences here, especially down the hall to the left, but we'll get to that when we get in there.
Cool.
But I've had a lot of experiences, caught a lot of EVPs, got a lot of photos, Shadow Man, a miner looking at me through a mirror. I got a lot of good stuff, so.
Okay.
So-
Have you ever felt like dread, like scared, like you need to get the hell out of here?
Yes,
Investigation, like
yes.
A negative dark presence
Yes.
whatsoever. Okay.
And we can explain more of that on the third
Okay,
floor.
cool.
But off this room here, I think something more recent that just happened.
Oh, yes.
We did have a high school kid who did his paranormal, senior project on the paranormal. And we actually, there's a card table over here.
Okay.
And we actually brought a plasma ball in, and that kind of charges the air. And we were doing EVP, and this was shortly after the Constantinos had passed.
Okay.
And we had a ghost box running, and it came up and said Debbie. Now, we didn't, out of respect, we never directly addressed her. We had a personal relationship with her, so we didn't address that. We weren't trying to focus on that. But at the same time, we got a Class A EVP, and it sounds like a woman's voice, and it's up to interpretation, but to us, it sounds like her.
Okay.
And she says, crystal ball. So to her, the plasma ball looked like a crystal ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it all kind of coincided with the, when we put it all and played everything back and tied the evidence together, the spirit box said her name, we got the EVP,
Okay.
and for her, then it sounded like it could have been her. But like I said, it's up to interpretation.
And that's the thing, they were EVP specialists.
Exactly.
That was the field they focused on.
But another thing that also happened that same night, after we got the EVP saying crystal ball, a few minutes later, we get another EVP and it says devils. So, my interpretation on that, in the 1800s, they didn't know what these plasma balls were. They just saw it as a crystal ball.
Yeah.
They've never witnessed anything like that. So we get the word crystal ball, and then we get devils. It's like they're saying that we're devils and we're doing something with that ball that they have never seen. So they're interpreting it as devil worship.
Or if a fortune teller back then,
Fortune
how the stigma behind a fortune teller would have, they could have been, oh, you're a witch, oh, you're a devil, if you tried to tell people's fortunes.
Yeah.
So, and it was a different voice that said devils. So we got a lot of evidence off that, and that was the first time we ever used that.
Okay.
So we're expanding on that a little bit more, kind of pushing in that direction, because it does charge the air. You put your K2 to it, you put a CFL light bulb, it'll light it up. I mean, it's that much energy coming off those. So, but we're always trying to push the limits, trying to find different techniques, different things to kind of stimulate the energy in the room.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah. So
If
we
it hasn't
can,
been done, try it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we can go over there if you want. Did you have
Yeah.
something you want to add in here? Specifically?
And that's Jen, by the way,
I'm
Jen.
Jen. I started tour guide same time as Richard did in 2012. And this room also, just the footsteps in that hallway, sounds like cowboys just strolling,
They actually do. If you're sitting in this room and you're nice and quiet and just let things
Yeah.
happen, you will actually see the shadow figures out there in that hallway moving around. And sometimes they will actually come up to the door, and it's like they're standing there seeing what it is that you're doing in here.
Yeah, it's like we're curious about them. I'm sure they're curious about
Yeah.
us somewhat. That's awesome.
So if you want to go to the millionaires room, we can go over to the millionaires
Lead the way,
bar.
sir. We'll follow
Okay.
you.
There's some first moments in this here, just about.
Now this here, this is the heart of the Millionaires Club. This was their bar room. They called it the wine room. Absolutely beautiful back in the day. The decorative pieces, the filigree, door handles, and doorknobs were all made of solid silver. There were 184 members of the Millionaires Club. And if you wanted to become a member of the Millionaires Club, you had to be a millionaire. And you had to pay your membership fee. The cost of your membership fee in 1875 was $15,000. This room right back over here, this was their gaming room. Now, this little table that you see here, this was not the gaming table. This actual table was up here in the Millionaires Club. This table used to belong in the library area. The gaming table that was up here was probably much bigger and grander than this table here. And this is where we did that session with the crystal ball, or the plasma ball. We had it sitting here on the table, and the team is all sitting around the table here, and we're asking various questions. And we actually did get stuff coming through while we were up here doing that session. And Simran kind of told you what those responses were.
Yeah, last time we were here it was a different table.
It was a little
The
round
small
table.
one.
So can we sit at these chairs if need be, or no?
Pardon?
Sit at these chairs if we have to, or
Oh, you can sit in them. Yeah, this has nothing to
can we
do.
play the cards, or no?
If you want to,
Okay.
this might be something that you want to do later tonight when you're investigating. Get a poker game going and use your K2s for responses. And hey, you want to hit?
Was that the game of choice they played back then? Was poker?
I would imagine so.
Like 5-card draw, like guessing.
Probably.
Or hold on.
Did they know what Texas Hold'em was?
I have no idea. I don't even know what those games are.
Oh.
I'm not a card
I
player.
do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they were betting $1,000 hands on Go Fish or anything.
They probably
Yeah.
were.
They're probably playing 5 stud or 5 draw or something. 7 stud.
Okay, cool. Well, this is the game room.
And right.
Michelle, do you have anything that you can add to this area of the building?
Actually, the only thing that I've had witnessed is we were sitting in this room here, and we were all sitting up against the wall, and it was in complete pitch darkness, and you can see electrical sparks.
Oh, really?
The
Yeah,
sparkles.
the sparkles
Yeah.
of how much energy that was in front of us. It was pretty cool.
We call them twinkle lights.
Yeah,
Would that
it was
coincide
like
with
a
what you see on
shower
plasma
of
ball?
green
No.
and red
Okay.
sparkles. It was pretty cool. That's the only thing I've ever had in this area.
Okay.
So, but it was pretty neat.
As far as,
Pretty
like,
neat little
room-
light show.
As far as remodeling stuff, this is like the original wallpaper and everything, right?
No.
No? Okay.
No. This wallpaper in here, this wallpaper's just been exposed to us within the last year or so.
Okay.
There used to be blonde colored paneling on the walls in here. And when the paneling was taken down, that's the first time anybody here in recent times has been able to see this wallpaper. And the date that's on this is probably right around 1900, 1901.
Oh, wow.
It is beautiful
But
wallpaper.
I don't think it was like mass produced back then. Is it more like handmade and?
It might have been.
Jen, have you felt anything in this area?
No, I just don't like going in that room. Anytime I've sat in that room longer
Okay.
than like 5 minutes, I get like nauseous.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's the only room in this whole building that makes me feel nauseous.
Now I want to show you a picture that was taken in this room. It was taken on one of the tours. There was only a couple of people on the tour and the tour guide himself. Well, the 3 of them went into this room, and the tour guide came out and the man came out. But the lady, she stayed in there, and she took the camera up and she took a selfie of her. And she didn't know it at the time. And when she got downstairs, she started looking through her pictures and she just went, oh, look what I've got. And this is what was behind her.
Oh my God.
I'll make it bigger.
Yeah.
That's
It's like how clear can that get? It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's not like the translucent looks like smoke. You can see through
Uh-huh.
it. That's a person standing there.
It's like a haggard old
Yeah.
woman.
You want to get a shot, Zach? Can you see that?
That's awesome.
Like you can see like skin tone color and everything.
Now she was back here. She was probably right in this area, and she took the camera up and just flashed the picture here. And
So the
that's what
person's
was
in this
behind
corner?
her. Yeah, in that corner there behind her.
Okay.
And she didn't even know it was there until she got downstairs and started going through her pictures.
So I'd blown that picture up, I'd look for pixelation, I'd look
Yeah.
for ghost
It's a
apps,
full-
and I can't see any difference.
You've done your best to debunk it.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it, so.
Wow. That is awesome. That's really clear.
And
Like,
this was just on one of the tours.
yeah.
And we get pictures almost every day. Of course, they're all orbs and stuff like that. But every once in a while, we get something that really has to be taken a look
And
at.
you doing tours all the time, have you ever noticed like bringing a certain group with a certain energy makes the activity different on the tour, or
I end up when I sit in there.
No. Yeah, you know,
like with some group, like wow, that group I just led with, that was crazy. Like something happened that never has happened before.
I never pay attention to that. It's
Okay.
just that I come up here, and the activity up here is very random. I mean, You'll come up one time and the activity is crazy.
Yeah.
You'll come up the next time, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There can be times we come up here every hour on the hour, there's nothing that happens at all.
Oh, it's like fishing. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they bite, sometimes
Uh-huh.
they don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I really do like it when the little kids are up here.
Okay.
Sometimes we do get a little more activity when the kids are up here. And there are some times, now this room right here,
Okay.
if you want to go back in this room here, this room right here, this is the room where women, when it does happen, women start having their experiences with paranormal activity in this room. A lot of times women will be in this room and they get the sensation of their hair being stroked, their hair being pulled, their purses being yanked on, their skirts and blouses being tugged on. And my take on it is, this was the Millionaires Club. There was never any women allowed up here, except when they brought the prostitutes in.
Mm-hmm.
But my take on it is, maybe some of these old millionaires, after they died, they must have had a really good time back here back in the day. Maybe they've come back.
Right.
And they just really like that the women are up here
Well, they were probably forceful
in this
up
area.
here, yeah.
And they
Corey,
probably
guess
like
where
the
you're
women
hanging
up
out.
here. And they're just trying to let the women know that they're being acknowledged, and they probably like that the women are up here in the Millionaires Club.
Yeah.
They're not used to seeing that.
Or they
And I
don't
really
like
don't
it.
think they mean them any
Yeah.
harm. But it does happen quite often when I...
It gets them, yeah, they're not harmful. I think it's an excitement.
Yeah.
And
They
like
get
seizures
excited.
like that. Huh?
Got your mini skirt?
Well,
Well, that's about it as far as these areas go.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. When we come here, we never even investigate these rooms. Have you guys ever gone up here and done anything?
I have, but never got any.
I've never gotten anything out of them either. The hallway here is quite active. If you come down here, I can tell you another experience that happened to us. We were here doing an investigation one evening, and it was getting pretty late. It was early morning. It was probably around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and most of the team is back there in the ballroom, and Cimarron and Sam are up here on this landing. They were messing around with the DVR system. So I come through the hallway here, and I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, and I hear them up there, and I go, "Hey, are you guys okay up there?" And they go, "Yeah, we're all right." And I go, "Are we getting ready to close up?" And just as I said that, a disembodied voice, this was chilling. It screamed at us. The disembodied voice enveloped this whole building, and it screams out, and it goes, "No!" And they go, "Did you hear that? What is that? What's going on? What is that?" Everybody heard it in the whole building. Well, what we think, because that spirit probably didn't want us to stay here any longer, and he was screaming out, "No, don't stay here, go." That's the take that we were getting from it. Is that what you were getting, Sam?
Yeah, we had just finished a white noise EVP session upstairs, and the pressure in the room was very, very high anxiety. It just felt like we weren't welcome anymore. We had our time here, and the white noise especially was getting like annoying to us, but more the spirits too. So when we were like, "Okay, we'll leave you alone for now," we came back down. We had to go back up to replace the batteries on one of the cameras, and then and then Richard asked that, and then it yelled at us because we were like, maybe it wanted us to leave.
Yeah.
So it was definitely angry at us. So we kind of tied all that together, but that's the best that we could do as far as the circumstances of what happened, you know.
And it sounded like, or what you thought, it sounded like it was coming from the 3rd floor in that back room where the brown and red paint is.
Right down the
We
hallway.
think that's
And
where
that's what I've heard.
it developed.
So far as the 3rd floor is more of a negative
Oh,
energy.
definitely.
Like, yeah, you feel unwanted. And that's where you said you heard the no.
Yeah.
Like,
So if you're sensitive at all, even people that are going on Richard's tour, if they're slightly sensitive, and I don't want to jinx it for everybody, but as soon as you start climbing those stairs, people are like, "I start to feel weird." As soon as I start to make to climb to the 3rd floor.
Okay.
So that's the general feeling when people come in here. So
Now, how about you, Michelle? In this area down here?
Oh, yeah. Okay, straight down here, I'll show you real quick. I'll tell you a quick little story. Okay, I had a friend of mine and myself, we were down this hall and she asked me to come to this room. She felt something. She was standing right here and I was right here and I'm looking in, I'm like, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. And I turned around, she was gone. And then I looked back, and I turned around and looked at her again, and it looked like she actually stepped forward. But what it was a black mass that had moved backwards, and it scared the bejesus out of me. Wow. So I got scared. I screamed. I went into the ballroom and came back around. Composed myself and turned the corner and looked straight at this wall, and there was this black mass.
That's the picture?
No, that's in different.
Okay.
That was in there.
Okay.
But I could see the black mass right here, and you can hear it go, woo, 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 the pulsating. It was frightening. It was just, I was traumatized by that. So yeah, he's here.
You can tell us, by the way you're telling your story and I'm looking at your facial expressions. It did something to you.
Yeah, it
can
did.
tell.
It was insane when I thought she was standing there and she did, where'd you go? And the next thing you know,
Did you turn that off? Or just shut off?
So anyways, yeah. So, the spirit, this big dark mass, he's very, very negative and he's very powerful. And I feel sometimes he keeps the spirits trapped. Takes control of them actually. And it's his decision
So
whether
he's
or
calling
not.
the shots, yeah.
Yeah, he calls the shots.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty scary. Hope we see him tonight.
No, me too. And that's back here.
Yeah, there's the rooms back here.
Oh, yeah, okay, so it's just,
To your
yeah,
right.
so like,
Okay.
interesting.
That's weird.
It's got green over there.
Now, this closet, I'll give you a little insight on the closet. Now, there are stories that go along with this closet. I don't know how true they are, but one of the story is there was a lady of the night. She was here. She was taken in this closet against her will. She was taken in the closet, raped, and maybe murdered in this closet. Another story that we have, there was a lady that used to work here. She brought her little boy to work with her. And to keep the boy out of her hair and out from under her feet, she would lock him in this closet. And maybe he died in this closet. These are just a couple of strange stories that go along with this closet. But a lot of times, people that are sensitive, that are psychics or mediums or what have you, when they go in this closet, they get a very strong sense of disorientation and they actually have to come out of there. We've actually had people go in here and felt sick and they've come out of the closet. Well, you know.
Nice.
I see what you did there.
So if you want to take go in there and check it out, you can.
Am I gonna get sick?
I don't know.
It's a weird feeling. That's the thing.
It really is.
At any time, any of you guys feel something, don't hesitate to say it. You know.
It's claustrophobic a little bit.
Now this big box that you see right here, this is the cap that is on top of that spiral staircase.
Okay.
The spiral staircase never
Ends
did go
right
to
here.
that.
Okay.
Never went to the third floor.
Interesting.
Stopped here.
Yeah. This is the route the millionaires came up. It's the Millionaires Club. They came up the spiral staircase.
Okay.
Now there was a team here. To tell you the truth, I can't remember their name. But anyway, what's that? Sam, what's those guys' name that live down in Auburn?
Ghost Files.
Ghost Files. They were here doing a show. And they had a camera set up in there, and it was facing this way. And they actually they've got footage of the Shadow Man climbing across this thing to come into the room. Wow. They actually have that video.
And I've heard different theories on shadow men. I just want your opinion. What do you think shadow men or shadow people are?
Well, they're just shadow people. This is how they choose to show themselves. Instead of a white mist or something like that, they show up in a dark shadow form.
Do you feel
like
like
the cowboy?
Yeah.
He always shows up in a dark shadow form. That's the only way he's ever been seen. Lena, she shows up as a ghostly figure, in a blue mist, a blue appearance.
Yeah, mist.
Well, I've actually seen Lena. She's shown herself to me, and she showed up, and it looks just like that picture downstairs in the museum.
It's curious. Like some show themselves as a lighter aura, some shows a darker aura, and does that affect what you feel when they're around?
You okay? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. Now these 3 rooms, this used to be an apartment, and I actually know the lady that used to live up here. Her name is Michelle LeBaron, and she lived here in the early 80s, and she lived here with her 2 teenage boys. This room right here, she explained to me, used to be her kitchen and dining area. This middle room, she set this up as a living room. The room down there, she set that up as a bedroom for her. The hallway, she converted that for her 2 teenage boys. The hallway was used as their bedroom, and they had that set up. Yeah, we've had some experiences in here. This is where we see the so-called twinkle lights, or the bees. And we would see them up here. We'd be sitting in that area over there, and we'd be staring into the blackness, and we could see the twinkle lights starting to appear up here. And that's the first time I'd ever seen them. But Cimarron explained to me that the twinkle lights are how the spirits are coming in and out of the area.
Through a portal or just?
Sam, would it be through a portal?
If you could call it that, just how they move.
Yeah.
So just whether you call it a portal or whatever.
It's raining glitter.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like from one dimension to another. It's just how they move.
The way like freeway.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Just how their energy visualizes to us to see, I guess, I don't know how to explain.
Cool. Now, one of my most memorable experiences being here at the Washoe Club happened right here in this room. It's a 2-part story. It starts up on the 3rd floor, but it ends right here. Now, over the years that I've been working here, I've had various people tell me that there are a couple of spirits here that have taken a strong liking to me, because I talk kindly of the spirits here. And one of these spirits is Lena, the lady in blue. And then there's another spirit here, a little boy. We think he goes by the name of Peter, but we also get another name of Michael for him. So we really don't know if his name is Michael Peter, Peter Michael, or if it's 2 separate little boys. We don't know. But the first part of the story starts up on the 3rd floor. Cimarron, he's standing out in the hallway, and I'm standing in that third floor apartment. The rest of the team is sitting on the benches towards the other end of the room. And Cimarron says, he says, Richard, Lena is here, and she'd like to come into the room with you. But she was afraid to come into the room because there was another presence there, a mean spirit, and she's afraid of the mean spirit. So one of the other investigators, he kept the mean spirit at bay, made sure he didn't come into the room. So Cimarron, he says, okay, Lena, go on in there with Richard. So she came in through the door. She walks right up to me. I don't see her walk up to me. And my hair's buzzed like this. And she starts stroking the top of my head, and I can feel it just like that.
Wow.
And I said to the team, I go, get a picture of me right now. So they took a picture of me, and there's a beautiful orb right on top of my head, and it's lifting off. You can see that it's lifting off. And a message came through Cimarron, Lena has a surprise for you. And it was gone. It was over. And we go, what does that mean? She has a surprise for me. I don't understand.
And she's known as the Lady in Blue.
The Lady in Blue.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So, it was interesting. It was a neat thing to have happen. So we really didn't think anything more about it. This happened around right at 10 o'clock at night. So we go through the rest of the building. We're investigating through the entire night. Like I said, the only outlet down here is just above the crypt where you can plug in. Well, we had extension cords running through the building. So it was me, Cimarron, and Judd. We come walking through the hallway here. I'm the first one into the room. Cimarron's right behind me, and then Judd. And just as I come in the room, right here in the doorway, right here, here's Lena, standing right here. Full body apparition. I see her, and I go, and I turn and I go, are you guys seeing this? And just as we turn back, she's right here, and she goes just like this, she goes,
Sucks back.
and she's gone. It's like you could actually hear the suction of her being taken back into her dimension. But that's not all. As that was going on, as she was going down this hallway, it's like the wood in this hallway was snapping and cracking from all the energy. Now, Cimarron and Judd did not get to see her, But they heard all the activity that happened with that apparition.
So we stepped through, he spun around and said, do you see this? And he came back in, and as we stepped through the doorway, you could hear that it just goes all the way down this hallway, as if she's flying backwards. And that's what we heard. And he's like, I saw her, she was standing there. And then it makes sense. We're like, that was the surprise. She was going to show us.
It's funny, I haven't said a damn word to you about this, but me and Paul have been here, we've investigated before. This hallway, I was filming, we had a piece of evidence that was questionable, a woman standing in this doorway. It was just a quick pan, and I paused it, I'm like, dude, there is a woman standing in the doorway. Everyone blew it off as, oh, it's just someone standing there, you can see their vest. We have the footage still, and Paul, what we were doing, we were setting the camera up with the extension cord here. I was filming down the hallway, and I have it, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a little kid at the end of the hallway. And I'm looking through my LCD screen, so everything you just said, I'm like, holy shit, dude. So
I saw your reaction.
Awesome. That is awesome. No. Saying there was a woman in the doorway, saw that.
We
Kid at the end of the hallway, saw that.
Right at the same time, we were trying to untangle all the cord, set up the DVR. And Fred comes walking up to us, he's like, did you hear that? And you're like, what? He goes, there's a little boy saying, what are you doing? And he's the only one that heard it, but he heard it like loud and clear.
Like, Fred heard him. I was filming just down the hallway, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, dude, I saw the little kid standing right there.
What are you doing?
No, that's awesome. Those
We're sitting there trying to untangle all these cords.
Well, we're just getting started. We've got.
One thing
and I'm
about
sure
the-
Michelle and
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I have that story.
So I just listened to your story, and I'm like, oh my god,
My son
holy
got in
shit.
that hallway.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, show 'em.
So,
Do you have it?
yeah.
Just the moment I walked in this room, it felt
Show
different.
them.
So,
Do you guys
we
find
were
it
up here,
different?
I have,
A little bit.
Yeah.
I have 5 kids, and we were all up here with them shortly after it opened. And we were going on, and one of my twins was in the hallway, and his little Nikon point-and-shoot camera stopped working, like where it tends to stop working from a lot of people at the top of the crypt, aiming this way. And I'm like, well, just come on, we gotta keep going. It happens all the time. Well, finally, it took a picture, but the flash didn't go off.
Okay.
So remember, this is just a Nikon point-and-shoot camera, and this is what he got.
Wow. But you can see the face right
But
there.
bring it down. Can you bring it down to what? Here, I've got it
Do
too.
you have the full?
I've got
I'm like,
it.
I just have to zoom in.
Okay.
No, but look, you can see a facial feature right there.
It's like a miner on fire.
Like I can see almost like a mustache.
Yeah.
Like it's got a mustache, kind of a goatee.
Yeah, you can zoom in.
Definite man. Oh yeah.
But yeah. And he's all, Mom, 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 following me. And I'm like, just come on. He goes, no, look.
Wow.
So,
Be using C Street once you're there.
Shoot.
Well,
I don't have it. I've got it on my computer, but I don't have
Like
it.
I said,
here.
it's just like you hearing stuff.
but yeah.
Yeah, that's. probably
Zach
most
just
amazing.
noted that because he's got headphones on, he's listening through the audio on his camera. He said he's hearing some EVPs already through here. So
I want to tell you.
it's a full moon tonight.
Yay.
I want to tell you something. We've been here and we've had some really good experiences, but you have to realize when we heard that big scream, no. When we see Lena here, it's all at the end of our investigation.
Or when you're not paying attention.
And when you're not paying attention,
Yeah,
you don't
we were-
have your equipment running,
Yeah.
nothing is
We were
going.
setting up our DVR cameras, just running cable.
Uh-huh. And it's and you don't have anything on. You can't prove this stuff except by what we're telling you, you know?
That's what happened to me in the crib.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I caught
Holy
the
shit.
shadow man right here, the big black
Yeah,
guy.
she's got a picture.
What was that?
And that's this door frame right here.
This big door frame
Okay.
right here. You can see him.
So like a girl.
Oh wow, that's like
That's
totally
my
like
friend.
It's tall.
it's not even translucent. You can't see through.
You
It's
can see
blocking
his
out
arm.
everything.
It's just hulking. To me, that's just.
It looks like it's like a cloaked
That's
figure.
that's
Yeah.
what was in that doorway.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
10 minutes ago.
Yeah, when I saw that picture for the first time, it just gave me the chills. It's like that's something sinister in here.
Yeah, and I was behind her. Real quick.
That's the shadow man.
So the moment we
wow.
came across the threshold, dude.
That's the black mass.
Well, then Michelle, that when we were up here a few months ago in here, when you were down here with the other people.
Oh, yeah, the spirit that.
Yeah,
blessed
I was on the
people.
3rd floor with 2 people, and she was down here with like 3 or 4
Yeah.
people. And I actually saw a shadow running down the stairs. And I stopped and I told my husband, I'm like, someone's run downstairs because it stopped like halfway, almost like it stopped right when I saw it. And then we went after it and it started going. As we get to the bottom stairs, we hear them scream in here because a shadow ran up on them. And she actually caught the footsteps, like
you
run
were
up.
being rushed.
And I'm like, and she thought
I knew
it was
he
us.
was
She was going,
here.
"Why?
Yeah.
Is that you?"
I think they
And
like
I'm like,
scaring. It's that energy that's
Yeah.
released when you're frightened. Like that's their
I
food.
knew
They
he
feed off of
was
that.
there.
I think.
I had myself cornered in that corner like this, because I knew he was coming.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're like, oh my God, and I mean, one girl jumped into another girl's lap
yeah.
because they heard him rushing.
You have video of that on your face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And it just, the timing was right, because also we show up like within a minute later. And
I
they're
thought
like,
it
was
was
that you guys? I'm
everybody.
like, no, a shadow just ran on the stairs. And they were like, a shadow just ran up on us.
Wow.
So.
That's crazy. All right.
And then after that,
Well, as
Continue.
far as down here, Sim, I think that pretty much covered it. Well, I don't know
Okay.
about you
Yeah,
guys.
that's all I've had.
Well, we really haven't had any experiences in these rooms up front here on the second floor. This room right here, this room can be active every once in a while. For myself, I think this is where the shadow man likes to be most of the time, and he'll come out and walk around.
Especially if you're
That's what
sitting
we were
back
feeling.
here. Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
few minutes ago.
Especially
But this room right here, I think that's where he likes to be,
Yeah.
is in that room right there.
Especially if you're sitting back here, you don't hear footsteps out here. You'll see him walk by.
Just
He'll
curious, trying to
rush
find
at
out
you
what you're
coming
doing in this
through.
space.
But he won't come past this area like as much for some reason. I
Okay.
don't know
he's
why.
like waiting, come on, you guys gonna leave my.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's drawing you to go over there instead of him coming to you.
Yeah.
Right, something. We don't.
And then when you go in there, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Gotcha. Wow, dude, that was just crazy. The story they were explaining to me, dude. Like that's exactly to the T what happened when we were
Want
here.
to go in there?
They want.
Would you like to go in this room and,
I'm not going.
Yeah, sure. Like I
well,
said,
come on in.
anything you can tell us, that's what we're doing now.
Well, the only thing I can tell you about this room, we really have never had any experiences in here, but I can tell you what this room used to be.
Okay.
In 1920, plumbing was introduced to this building for the very first time. And the room right next door there, and this room here, these two rooms were the communal bathrooms and showers for the entire building.
Okay.
This was actually a shower room. And this out here, this was, well, I'll tell you about that when we get to the third floor, but this,
Okay.
these used to be two separate buildings.
Oh,
Yeah. But if you're ready, we can go up to the third floor.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Lead the way, sir.
Do you feel it?
What?
Children looking down at us.
It's the stairs. Like I said, I was with Paranosis for a little while. They came here and investigated. I wasn't on their team at the time, but about 2 weeks later, I went back and worked shit out. But it's just to be an independent source. I did their evidence review of this place. And every time they were filming, dude, like I just watched the video, like the stairs, the staircase, the
I
stairs.
don't mean any disrespect, we just want to come and we'll check things out, tell some stories. Okay. Where shall
So
we
this
go?
is the third and top floor. You get more of a negative feeling, negative experience.
It's more impressive out here.
Actually,
Feel a lot less welcome.
actually, everybody, you'll probably want to come down this way first,
Okay.
and then we'll work our way back that way.
Are you guys feeling like your heart rate increased?
Oh, we're feeling stuff.
Your
Like my heart
anxiety,
is racing.
your anxiety will go up.
Oh yeah.
Because of that. And it's fun.
I've had someone follow me through here and chase me. Yeah, down the hall.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm like, I'm sure you do.
All right, Richard, would you like to explain what this room is?
Well, okay, this room, I do know that there was a man who lived in this apartment back in 1873.
Okay.
He was the explosives technician for the mining industry in Virginia City. And at times, he did have some of the explosives in the apartment. And he also had a little pet. He had a pet monkey. And the monkey got out of his cage. He got into the explosives, knocked over the nitroglycerin, and blew the back half of this building to smithereens along with the Bank of California next door. And it killed 19 people in the explosion. And one of the people killed in the explosion was a little girl, and her name was Ella.
Okay.
And for some reason, little Ella never crossed over. Her mother and father was killed in the explosion as well. But little Ella's never crossed over, and she's still with us today. We do get reports of people making contact with little Ella. And you'll notice the stuffed animals over here. Those are brought up here as trigger objects to get a reaction with little Ella. And also, we do get reports of the little boy spirit that's up here is playing with those stuffed animals as well.
So you being the tour guide, I'm sure you've locked up at night. You know what things look like when you leave them. If you come in the morning, like things have been moved around, like.
Well, no. I come to work at. I start my shift at noon.
Oh, okay.
And I only work until 5, and I'm off at 6. The only time I'm up here is when I'm doing the tours. I don't have to come up here to do anything unless I'm asked to come up here to close something up or something. But the other bartender, Carl, he pretty much takes care of all that stuff now.
Okay.
I used to when I first started work here, but I've kind of backed off on working here just a couple of days a week, so I'm not up here as much as they are.
Are you guys feeling footsteps right here behind? Like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I felt it.
Shaking the
The
floor,
chairs
right?
would be moved
Yeah,
around.
I felt it.
Yeah, we're gonna go to
Certain time, though, like, you
I
were the
thought that
last
was
person to
someone
leave
like
that
coming
room.
up the stairs.
I thought someone was walking back and
Yeah,
forth
it's
right
like
here.
the chairs in the middle of the room, you're like,
Yeah, this wasn't the way I left it yesterday, yeah.
It felt like someone walking right here.
So that's coming up.
No, the floorboards. Boom.
Just to get like a.
I'm gonna go
really?
down the stairs and come up. Tell me if
Maybe
you
they
feel
can move
it.
stuff,
okay?
obviously. Okay.
Now, one thing that has happened to me up here, and it lasted for a couple of years, there was a man who lived in this apartment in 1981, and he had a teenage boy, and his boy went out for the day, and he fell into a mine shaft, and he was killed, and the father was so distraught over the loss of his son that he committed suicide up here, and he shot himself in the head with
That's
a gun.
in this room?
In this room.
Oh.
Well, when I first started working here, I had a whole different story going about the suicide. I was telling people that he was hung in here, that he hung himself, and I left out the story about his boy. I didn't know about this story then. Well, I kept coming up here tour after tour, day after day, telling that same thing over and over again. Well, the spirit up here, he didn't like it anymore, and he took a strong dislike to me. I was being shoved up here. I was walking down the hallway over here, and I got shoved to go over the banister and down the stairs.
That's strong.
That's strong.
Felt like a physical person should
A
happen.
physical person came out of that
Wow.
music room and shoved me to go over the banister and down the stairs.
Okay.
We've had other investigators come up here and do investigations, and they would do EVP, and they would ask about the tour guides, and my name would come up. And the nasty things that came through when my name came up was pretty bad. And people were telling me about these EVPs that they were getting when my name would come up. Then I was up here doing a tour. I'm coming across the hallway back there, and on this platform out here, here comes this shadow figure running out of the room across the platform, and it shoots down the stairs. And what I saw, it looked like a man, but he was running on all fours.
Oh, I've seen
Really?
that. I've seen
Went down the stairs. Well, we got confirmation that that actually happened. There was another team here. They were from Salt Lake City too. They were
I think it was Tyler's group.
Tyler.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Well, okay. They were here the very next week, and they wanted to come up here and get their bearings on everything, so I brought them up here. Well, one of the guys, the producer or whoever it was, I was talking to him and I told him about what I saw. And he thought that was pretty cool. But the cameraman, he went off other places. He didn't get to hear that story. Well, that night, they're up here. The cameraman is standing where I saw it come out. He was standing there shooting across the area there. And what does he see come right out of the hallway and across the platform and into the room, the music room?
Black figure on all fours.
This black figure on all fours. Confirmation that that actually did happen. It scared the cameraman so bad, he left. And he said he's not going to come back up here and finish the shoot. They had to get somebody else to come and do the camera work.
So he explained to Tyler, whoever it was, what he saw,
Mm-hmm.
and then they freaked out because they're like, "That's what Richard said he saw last week up here," and it freaked him out so much he left. He left the building.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Well, I would go home and I'd tell Simmer about the stuff that's going on up here. And finally, Simmeron said, he goes, "You know what, Richard? You know that spirit up there on the third floor doesn't like you. You need to find out what's going on there." So I came in and I started talking to the people here, and I started saying, "Hey, how did the guy upstairs commit suicide? And that's when I heard the story about the boy and shooting himself, and I go, well, I'm going to start telling this story then.
Okay.
So we did an investigation up here. Denise Rodriguez, you all know Denise. We came in this room and we're doing a rod session, and we're doing a question and answer. And comes to find out, he was mad because I'm telling the story the wrong way, and I made amends to the guy, and I told him, I promise you, I will start telling your story the right way. And I started telling it the right way, and ever since, things have been just fine up here.
All the negative energy.
All the negative energy.
The pushes,
And I'm kind of glad it's not here anymore, because it was kind of neat to come up here and witness
It's not
that.
directed towards him as much.
Yeah.
Like the EVP stuff stopped.
I heard
You know, all the
something
bad
come
name
towards me.
calling and stuff stopped. So
And right over here next to the door, this is where I was standing. And Cimarron was outside the door, and this is where Lena came into the door and walked up to me and started stroking the top of my head. I was standing right next to this doorway.
the first part of that story.
Yeah, the first part of the story that I was telling you about.
Gotcha.
I go behind here all the time on the stairs.
And let's see.
It seems like the ones that are trying to scare you show up as the darker, kind of creepy ones. And like Lena, you were saying was comforting.
Yeah.
She's the one that shows up as like the kind of more white.
Well, and the little boy spirit, he's pretty nice too, and we'll go into that when we get further over here.
Okay.
And
about some
our theory behind that is if a spirit doesn't want you in a space, they're going to present themselves to you in something that they know is going to scare you.
Yeah.
So if you saw a dark shadow crawling on all fours, monkey style, like you think that there could be a wild animal, could be something uncontrollable.
That fear instinct just kicks in.
Your
It's either
primal
fight or
fear,
flight.
exactly. Your primal fear kicks in, and you immediately react to that. So to me, that's going to give the spirit the best response of getting us out of here. You
But
know
it
what I
didn't
mean?
work because I was giving a tour when I saw that. So I had to keep my composure
Okay.
and just let it go and say, well, okay, I've got to finish the tour. But it did. It was upsetting.
Yeah.
But I had to let it go because I was on a tour when that actually happened.
And that's something we believe in any place, not just the Washoe Club.
Oh yeah.
You know, any spirit that doesn't want you in their house, they want to scare you. They're going to present themselves in a way that's going to make you afraid, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the energy they're going to project that they want you to pick up on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Michelle?
Alright, cool.
So she's been feeling all kinds.
Yeah, it felt like something rushed at me. I've even come around here and been chased before, and I was like on top of my friend that was
And
in
I'm just
front
curious,
of
are
me.
any of you like psychic mediums? Do you
Sensitive.
The biggest ones right
Okay.
here.
Okay.
I consider myself an empath.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
That's why we started Empathic Paranormal, because I feel things very deeply, and I feel like the connection that we have with the spirit world. I'm Native American, so I was brought up with it.
Okay.
It's in my heritage, it's in our ceremonies, it's in everything that we do. So I don't need any clarification. So what we as empathic do is we go into houses, we help people that are having unexplained things happen. If there's extreme sickness in the family, we can come in, kind of find out what spirit's there, if it's a family member, and we've been able to help people that way. That's why we started Empathic, was to help people and help people understand that the other side is, you don't have to be afraid of it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of things that you can learn from the other side. So
And that's awesome. I respect that. You guys are awesome.
Well, this
for
is
doing
what
that.
we got into this for,
Okay.
and that's what Empathic Paranormal that's what we do. Now, when we come to the Washoe Club and when we travel and go to other places like Goldfield and all that, that's to us, we consider that the fun things to do. And I try to do things like that throughout the year for the team to do, because there's a lot of times we're not doing private residence,
Well,
we don't
see,
get the calls.
Paul does private medicines. That there's a different level of responsibility.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's a whole different ballgame.
It's just the way you investigate. You don't provoke the same way. You don't, you're more respectful, I must
More
say.
sensitive to the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's a lot
exactly.
more things that come into it. So.
What Native American tribe?
Paiute?
I need a Ute.
A Ute?
I've got some Native American language I need to have translated.
And as far as, because I've heard a lot about the miners, the rich people here, like Native American-wise, before all this was here, do you know any of that history? Like
Well,
land-wise?
Oh yeah. So like all towards Laostown. I mean, one of the biggest petroglyph sites in the world is just probably 10 miles this way.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
There's canyons of petroglyphs, and that's all Paiute and Shoshone and some
I'll bet that's worth a
Washoe.
look by itself.
For sure.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I
That'd be
bet
awesome.
I bet the Land Cruiser would get up there.
Yeah, we got that in the
So-
4-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma. So.
Right. So back here, if you want to talk more about the Native American side, there's a trail along one of the creek beds that goes between Mound House and Carson.
Okay.
And where if you follow the train tracks itself, you can sit out there and you can hear the war cries and the whoops, and you can hear stampeding horses.
Wow.
So, and it's all residual though. There's nothing intelligent. It's all just visual, and they're chasing
Being
the game.
replayed, yeah.
Yeah, and they're chasing
Remember the
game.
pictures of the horses that we got?
Yeah.
The mystic. We got pictures of mist, but they looked like war ponies with the Indians on them as they're riding
really?
through the prairie. Yeah.
So it wasn't just one; it was like a herd of.
It was a herd.
band.
It was
Yeah.
perfectly clear. Perfectly clear.
In the dark.
We took the picture, and that's what came through the picture, that mist of the war ponies and the Indians.
Exactly.
But that was out of Fort Churchill.
Yeah, so I'm not sure specific about this area before Virginia City was here, but I know the Loustown area was an inhabitant, and there was a lot of tribes that lived down there.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
yeah.
And also, Pyramid Lake is,
Well, that's pretty far away.
but that was still Paiute.
That's a spiritual place.
Yes.
I've heard.
Yeah. So yeah, do we have anything else?
I don't know.
Walk around.
Do you, Jen?
Yeah, this room.
Yeah, come on. Come
This is
on.
the room. Okay, so I did tours all day, and then a guy from Arizona came up the night before. Well, he came up with his new toy for himself. It was an infrared camera, and he just wanted to come up here and try it out at the end of the day. So he paid for the tour, but we came up to this room, and I sat down, and my daughters were already here because we were going home. And then from over there, we heard a disembodied voice say, "Get out." And his light went on so fast, and he looked at me, and his eyes were like popping out. And he's like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "You heard that too?" And my daughter's like, "It said get out." And I'm like, "Well, we better go." So I said, "Thank you for letting us hear what you had to say and how you felt. And I'm sorry if we were bothering you." Well, 2 weeks later, we were up here doing an overnight tour. And we sat in this room, and we had the ghost box going, and there was nothing. It was just scanning the stations. No voices were coming through. And then I started asking questions. A couple weeks ago, you said, "Get out." And I know this is your space, and I'm really sorry if it bothers you that we're in here, but we just want to come here for a little bit of it at a time, every once in a while. What can we do to make you feel more at peace? And right as soon as I ended that sentence, said whiskey. And so we have whiskey in our bag. So
We
come
do
up here,
too.
we
Oh,
drink whiskey.
good. You're
And ever
prepared.
since then,
We've
it's
got
like
whiskey
I
through
felt
our spirit
totally
box when we
fine.
were here too. Yeah.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
We
this
never done
room
anything
is like,
like that.
ever since then I've had like at peace in this room. Where some
Yeah.
people feel uneasy, but I
And the
just
whiskey
feel-
we brought, because Park City in Utah, where we are, that's our big silver city. That's where our mining
Uh-huh.
town was. And that's the whiskey we brought is made there. Silver whiskey, and it's clear.
Oh, nice.
So from our silver town to your silver town, we brought some whiskey. So
Nice.
we'll bring that
Okay.
out later.
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably happy. It's too bad we don't have any equipment going. Is there anything going?
Oh,
Except for the cameras.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna-
okay.
Like I said,
Well,
after
let's-
we're done doing this interview, we'll go down and I want to spend an hour investigating.
Well, we're
you
not
guys.
done yet.
Yeah, so
We're gonna. We still got more to
Well, we're
see.
gonna do a Q&A still,
keep it
right,
on.
live?
yeah,
We'll wanna do that before it gets late.
yeah, exactly.
Now this platform right here, this is where the shadow figure came out of this room. It ran across the platform here and down the stairs. Now when the cameraman was here, he was standing here and he was shooting across that way. The man running on all fours came out of that hallway there, across the platform and into the music room. That's where he saw it.
Okay.
Excellent.
That's weird that you said that because when I first came up here, I was just staring in this room. Saw something up here.
Now we've had some really good experiences in this room right here. This room here. Before this furniture was in here, there was nothing here. We were up here and we were doing an EVP session. And Mark and Debbie Constantino were with us. And we're sitting in various places around here. And they kept doing the EVP session. And Cimarron would always say, oh, you got something there. It says this. And Mark and Debbie say, well, we didn't hear anything. And Cimarron said, well, play it back. And sure enough, there would be something there. So they'd continue on and they'd do another session. And Cimarron would hear something and they would say, hey, you got something there.
Yeah.
And they didn't hear it. So they'd back it up. Sure enough, there was something there. Debbie looked at Cimarron and says, are you wearing a wire? And Cimarron says, no. And she goes, damn, you're good. You know, that was kind of a compliment to Cimarron, Debbie Constantino saying that to Cimarron. Well, later on, I did tell you about the little boy spirit up here that's taken a light to me. We're sitting in this room, and right on the door sill right here, we see what looks like two little hand figures come around the door sill, and a head pokes in. The shadow figure of a head, about the size of a little boy. And just as that happens, in the EVP playback, is Rick, get back to work.
Wow.
Like the little boy is telling me, I shouldn't be sitting in here. I need to be giving tours. And he's telling me to get back to work. That was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, well, that's about the most we've had happen up here, in this room anyway.
You've spent so much time here, they've got to get used to you. They got to know you after a while.
Well, yeah, I think they are used to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's why I'm not noticing them as much anymore. I've become kind of numb to it.
Okay.
I can come up here now. When I first started here, yeah, it was off the hook. But now it's like, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
This is where we were standing up here that time you and I came up here by ourselves, and that corner was pulsating.
Oh, right over there. Oh, gosh, that's
Yeah.
right. You could just feel it. It was like undulating.
We just were like still, just like frozen, like this.
You'll see that the black mass will just
Yeah.
it'll suck in and out.
Yeah.
And you can see it move into a room because the room will just get really dark.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just sit
Yeah.
in front of you.
We just noticed the hall.
This
how
hallway
dark
is
it
darker than
right
normal.
now. It's
Dude, like my
darker
heart
than
is
usual.
racing out of my chest right now.
Yeah, this
that
you're-
hallway right now is
This
darker than it's
This
ever
is the
been.
heart of the building,
right here.
right here.
Like, yeah. You go through intuition, you can feel it.
Yeah. So the energy moves past here, in and out of here.
If you give it enough time, if you just sit up here, just sit and just give it 15, 20 minutes, you'll just see it out here. It just changes.
Well, this is
We
where we're
we sat here in the music room.
Uh-huh.
Like the last time we were hearing like a woman wailing. Like, it was very faint, but we were able to hear it.
Well, that is something that does happen up here in the music room. Every once in a while, people will hear the sound of a music box being played. Actually, even a woman humming can be heard coming
It
from
sounded
this
like
area.
a woman, and we couldn't make out words. So
I think music's a very powerful tool. Who doesn't like music? Like, if you're in a bad mood, I need to hear this song. You know, like, music can change your mood and affect you. In
Now, if you
so
go
many
down
different
this
ways.
hallway to the end and go to the right and go to that far room, that is another hot spot up here.
room 12.
Watch this guy here.
How I got his number, I don't know.
And go to the right. In that room right there at the end, we get a lot of good activity out here. It seems to be very sinister.
Oh, yeah.
There's a window over there.
Just trying to get to the focus. There we go.
Now this is the room where when I first walked into it last time, I had to hunch over because I lost my breath.
In this room here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went through that door right there. I was like, oh boy.
This is the room.
So we have never seen this, but other investigators report that the door will close by itself.
Okay.
It's been debunked over and over that there's no physical way that it can do it by itself through wind or gravity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you try to open the windows on a
Yeah,
windy
The
day.
windows don't open.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't? Okay.
No.
So
On like a really windy day, just like cracks in the walls and stuff, you feel
No.
breezes.
There's no breeze back here.
Okay.
so
Our windiest days, nothing.
we've never actually got it to close by itself, but there is video of another team from Nevada who's filmed it like where it is now, and it just closes right by itself.
Yeah, one of our team members was up here. She was in this room. She wasn't on our team
Yeah.
at that time.
Okay.
But she was in this room, and while she was in this room, the door goes whoosh, bang. And she tried to open it. She tried pulling it, and it wouldn't open.
Something's on the other side fighting with it.
Well, I don't know. But she said she went out, she went around, she came down the hallway, and when she got to the door was open and right where it was right now. Now, if you do, okay, if you do move it out,
What?
Oh, man.
Oh. It just closes by itself, right?
Well, when it gets to a certain point, it does. But when it's back up, when it's back up against the door like this, it's fine, and it never moves. You'll come up here day after day after day, and it won't be closed. But you get it right about there, and it will close by itself. But the reports are that it goes.
It slams.
Yeah.
That's not a slam.
No.
It's got a letter J on
So yeah, even just naturally doing it by itself, it's not strong enough for that to lock it.
To latch. Yeah. Let alone someone be pulling on it to try to open it and it not opening.
So Richard, I want to show you, like the use of the geophone that we did up here. It was start playing. So we put the geophone in there. No service. I don't have no service.
Dude, I'm sweating.
Not here.
Sweating.
Yeah, I'm already hooked up to it.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Everybody is playing it.
Michelle, Jen, did you have anything back in this area?
I never have
never
had
had
any
anything
activity. Nope, nothing.
It's just playing.
I gotta replay
The
that.
only other thing that we ourselves have experienced is we've talked to Peter in here and got EVPs from him in here, which is the little boy.
Okay.
This is the bottom. This one tap.
Get you? There's one or two more throughout the building too. So, yeah.
Oh, Zach, $2. Oh, Zach, $2.
$2 chuck right here.
Let's see if it's playing.
When you said you did the research, the miners made about $4 a day back then, so $2 would be half a day's work to have a girl on that. You know, kind of makes sense.
Stop playing this one.
But the $4 was just for a few elite of the miners. The rest of the miners in town were being paid right around 53 cents a day.
Oh, wow.
The miners that were brought from England to go down and shore up the tunnels, they were the ones that were being paid $4 a day. And they were the ones that used to live up here on the third floor of the
I thought I read some research. They were brought in because they'd worked on mines that were similar to the rock.
maybe
like
that's
hard
what it
rock.
was.
They
But
were
they
just
were down
working on
shore.
that there, so it was the same style of rock
So
here, so
that,
they
in
brought
that
them in.
video, there was a chair. I don't know if it's still there. There's a chair just outside the door down the hallway,
There's a guy sitting here.
and I said no. There's one on
Never
this
says
side.
a word.
It's an empty
Quiet
chair.
guy.
And I set the geophone app on there, and I come and I sit down on the floor, and I'm like, I just put a device in the hallway on that chair, and you tap the blue light, and immediately it's like, dink! And we're all just sitting on the floor in here.
Do you know what that device is he's talking about?
Does it use the accelerometer in the phone? Is that what it does? Or what does it
It's just
use?
like a vibration.
Yeah, just
Okay.
the touchpad, yeah, when something touches it. Beep, beep,
So it uses the
So
touchpad on
the spirit
phone.
actually does touch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to actually touch the device for it to
we,
go.
we went down to the museum and took a break, and I left my voice recorder and that sitting there. You could hear all this noise, doors closing, and during that 15-minute period that I listened to, it's like it tapped 4 times up here with nobody up here. It's just dink.
Wow.
While we were hearing like footsteps, it's like dink.
When I first started to work here, and Jen, we kind of worked together when the place first opened, there were times on the tours, it doesn't happen much anymore, but small bent nails would be up here. The little tiny nails, bent nails, would be thrown at people while we were on the tour.
Like they're flicking that, yeah.
Like they're flicking them at us, yes.
So people stopping and like, wow, what just hit me?
Yes,
Are you hearing it on
exactly. They would
Ding, ding,
feel
ding.
it
Like,
hit
what the
them,
hell was
and
that?
they go, my God, it's a little nail.
And we thought it was Peter because he's pretty playful and he's a kid, so he wants to, you know, hide and go seek and throw stuff at you, and it's pretty harmless.
And I noticed all those toys in there. Have you guys used the toys in that other room?
We use the balls. We use
What
the,
room? Oh, the room that's locked?
Yeah. No.
No.
No. The one with
On the
room.
second floor.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
this side.
Yeah, we use those as trigger objects.
Okay.
A lot of people come up here.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones that investigate up
Sure.
here. There's
Oh, yeah.
this place is booked all the time
yeah.
for people.
Yeah.
We brought some jacks up here once, and we got some really good EVP with jacks and
Because
a
they're
ball.
old school toys.
Yeah, exactly. So we and it
Jump
wor-
rope, jack.
yeah, the old
The
stuff.
hoop, or the barrel for a hula hoop thing, you know? the
Yeah.
barrel thing.
Yeah.
Straight photos tonight.
Hopscotch.
Old
Yeah.
photos like on the internet.
Well, I don't think in the 1800s they had hula hoops.
I'm talking about like a barrel hoop. Like
Oh, the
they
barrel
roll
hoop.
them or
Oh,
something.
yeah, the barrel hoops.
What was
yeah.
that thing like they get 2 sticks in the
And they roll it, yeah.
That was a pretty popular game back then. Whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called.
Barrel hoop.
Barrel
Is that what
hoop.
it is? Oh.
Shuffleboard.
Ground a hoop.
Right. Okay.
Well, we,
The
something
only
that,
other thing too, people will take pictures out the window
Uh-huh.
and they'll see a cat. Now there are cats here, but people get a picture of a cat and it is glowing. So and it's from these windows. So we haven't substantiated any of those claims. We've never experienced that, but I'm
You've
just
heard it
throwing-
from multiple investigators,
Yes.
multiple groups.
And
It's
it's
not
from
just one person.
right.
Okay.
And it's from this room out these windows.
Okay.
But we've never seen any pictures from their so-called evidence. So who knows?
Sim, do you remember when we were up here doing an investigation and we had the video camera shooting down into this blackness?
Yeah.
And we thought we saw some strange looking face starting to take form.
Right.
In the pixel, it could have just been pixelation, but it started to look like a demonic face looking at us. Now I'm not a believer in demons that are up here or anything like that, but we did in our video. It actually looked like a face was forming over there, where you come off those little stairs right there.
So let's go in the other
Standing
room.
there.
You can give them the history on that side of the room. And then we did have an experience in our last
Oh,
time.
okay, yeah.
I can feel it. It's you can feel it.
I feel like I'm doing this.
Ooh, sparkles.
There's a drum.
Into the sparkles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can tell that story.
Well, yeah, but tell them the history of why it's like.
Okay. The reason why you walk into these rooms and the rooms are crooked and everything,
That's what I was going to say.
it was 1890, and there was a record snowfall up on the roof. And this room here used to be the bathhouse. Well, there was a leak that developed in the bathhouse, and with the combination of the leak in the bathhouse and all the snow up here melting and saturating this wall with moisture, this wall couldn't take it anymore, and it came crashing down, and this building just went just like this, and it sunk, and it has been this way since 1890.
Oh my gosh.
Now, when they put this wall back up, they just took all the broken pieces of brick and just plastered that wall right back up there, and it has been that way since 1890.
Wow. Patch job.
This glass right here on the left, that's original glass from the 1800s. And there are other places throughout the building where you'll see some of the original glass.
I noticed some nails on the floor down there.
Yeah.
Yep. Those still, we didn't do a very good job cleaning up. Those nails are still there.
So the last time we investigated here, we came in this room to do an EVP session, and there were some chairs in here, and we had all sit down, and we had just started maybe a minute or two in, and on the EVP we get a drum, and it's like do 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 do, like on a tom or not a snare, definitely a tom drum, but it was a definite drum pattern, and we've never got anything like that in any of this. Just like us in any part of this building, like music-wise, as far as an instrument. So it was very peculiar. We tried to debunk it when we played it because we did a playback immediately and we heard it. We tried to drag the chairs around. We couldn't debunk it. So that's if we ever come back, we wanted to explore that all.
And this was the bathroom?
Yeah, this was the bathroom. So
No, this wasn't. Oh yes, it was the bathhouse. Yeah, bathhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
but that's pretty much the only thing we've ever experienced in this room per se.
Okay.
But it is kind of a neat room because it's slanted and.
Yeah, it gives you that fun house feeling just because of
Quick
the
question. I
slant,
noticed
the
this
fill.
picture of the girl.
These pictures have nothing to do with this building
Okay. Because
whatsoever.
I thought I saw a
That's
similar
itself.
picture of her downstairs, but
Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't pay attention to that.
okay. Well, she was looking at you, so.
Yeah,
She's looking at you.
all of this stuff has just been brought up here within the last year or so.
Oh, it's on.
The man who owns the building across the street, he's been bringing some of the stuff over here so people can get an idea of what period pieces used to look like.
Yeah.
And then they decided to take a step further and bring these stupid mannequins up here to try to scare the people on the tour.
And it works.
Well, definitely works.
Right?
Holy shit.
Even when you warn them, it still works.
Alright, keep following the tour.
Alright.
I was trying to prevent a sudden scare outbreak.
Little funhouse feeling back there.
This is all stuff that we
Well,
experience, you know.
now as far as our experiences go, and doing the tours, I tried to give you the highlights.
Okay.
Of course, there are things that happen up here that we notice, but they go in one and out the other. We're not paying that much attention to them.
Exactly.
So the most memorable things that have happened to us, I think I pretty much covered for you. Cimarron did. I don't know about Michelle or Jen. They may have some more stories that they want to tell
Okay.
you. They're not up here as much as I am. I'm up here pretty much on a daily basis. At least I'm up here 2 days a week.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So if something's off, you know it.
Yeah.
It's like you got to feel
Uh-huh.
for the building. Okay.
Yeah, go on up here and take a look around. You'll see in this room.
Walk under the ladder.
No, you don't want to do that. If you want to go in there, I can move that ladder for you.
It's the same staircase.
But if you do want to go in that room, you can get to it just by going around right here. Pretty quiet up in here in these rooms. It's, like I say, we don't get much up here in the front rooms. It's always back there is where we're getting. Oh, look at the full moon up there.
Yeah, that's great. Is this the original glass too, like the other room was?
I think the ones up above you are original glass. I'm not sure about this one. No, I don't think this one is.
You can tell because they're kind of wavy.
Wait,
Yeah, it looks like
I was
you're
gonna say,
looking
this
through
one
water.
looks a little more clear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's original. You can see the wave. You look at the moon.
That looks really cool coming through clouds. Full moon night.
Yeah, we're in for it, buddy.
I'll do
Yes.
this. Yeah, you can.
They
You feel it.
are going to bring a few of these rooms. They're working on them now. Their plan is to bring these rooms up into what they may have been like back in the 1800s. So they're putting up the sheetrock, and I think the owner has been looking into ordering wallpaper from the period,
Okay.
or replicas of wallpaper from the period, and they're going to do it up really nice and maybe put some
That's
of the nice
awesome.
furniture in here and give you an idea of what it may have looked like back in
So
the
it's more of a
1800s.
restoration, not a remodel.
Yeah, no remodel, no.
Okay, awesome.
No.
I think in the end, that makes the spirits more happy too.
When I'm by myself walking down the boardwalk, I've heard.
Minutes.
Oh, have you guys ever done that before? This is a real cool town, especially in the wintertime. If you're up here and it's maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and you get out here and start walking down the boardwalks, you're going to see people that aren't there. They come out, they really do. You'll see the old cowboys or the old miners out here leaning up against the posts and walking along the streets. You'll think they're real people, but they're not.
So they don't come out in the summer, or?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they do.
All right, and Zach just let me know to give you the heads up. He's got 20 minutes of battery life.
Okay, yeah, we're
Sometimes that
done.
ends up being 10 or 15. So.
Okay, we're done. If you want to go back to your cameras, we can go
So
back
did we
down.
go to the really haunted room, or
Huh?
the really?
Room 12?
Oh yeah, was that? Did we already go there?
Where?
Room 12.
What's that?
Yeah,
the room with the black and yellow.
Oh,
Yeah, we were just there.
Not the room with the door closes
Yeah.
itself.
That's not the most haunted.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not. No, it's not the most haunted.
Okay.
I would
I
say
think the most haunted is the big apartment in the back.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Uh-huh.
On the big apartment.
Yeah, and the third floor landing right
Yeah.
there, just
Gotcha,
by the
okay.
staircase.
Yeah.
Sweet.
There's one story I just remembered. We had a tour of people up here, and I was bringing up the rear, and there was a girl in front of me. She was like 3-4 feet in front of me. So she's walking by, and I literally hear this as she walks by that room where you got the feeling earlier. You hear like this. Her clothes didn't move, but that's the sound that we heard. And she spun around and looked at me, and I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Did you just grab me?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm like, "If you knew me better, you'd be laughing right now." And she's like, she didn't get it. I'm like, "I swear to you, I didn't touch you." But she said she got grabbed. So, and that's the room where you walked by and you said you felt something in there. So, I just remember that right now.
Okay.
Sweet.
Awesome.